Yuta Padakamalam Shiva Vaishnavamsa Shivapam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Sam Sadevam Sadvaitam Savadutam Harijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lavita Shri Vishakandam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pariprajakacharya Stotra Satasi Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Amacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So my dear devotees, I will begin by reading two sections from my book, I'll Build You a Temple, the Juhu Story, about deity worship. The first section is very important. From one perspective, the history of the Juhu project can be viewed as the story of Srila Prabhupada's personal service to Sri Sri Radharasa Bihari. My dear sir, he told Sri Rasa Bihari and them both, you just stand here and I will build you a temple. Yet at the same time as he was serving their lordships, he was also training us, his disciples, in the process of deity worship. In Calcutta, he had raised the question, what is the duty of the spiritual master and what is the duty of the disciple? And he had given the answer. The duty of the spiritual master is to serve Krishna, and the duty of the disciple is to assist the spiritual master. He had given the example that it was his duty to see that the temple floor was clean. And so the disciple washing the floor could think, it is my spiritual master's duty to keep the floor clean, and I am assisting him by cleaning it. In his 8 stanzas glorifying the spiritual master, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states, Shri Vigrahara Dana Nityanana Shringara Tan Mandira Marjanada Yuktasya Bhaktamscha Niyunjatopi Vande Guru Sri Charanara Vindam. The spiritual master is always engaged in the temple worship of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna. He also engages his disciples in such worship. They dress the deities in beautiful clothes and ornaments, clean their temple, and perform other similar worship of the Lord. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. Shri Guruvastaka 3. Srila Prabhupada explains in his purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 2.3.22, Shri Vigraha is the archa, or suitable worshipable form of the Lord, and the disciple should be engaged in worshiping the deity regularly by shringar, proper decoration and dressing, as also by mandira marjana, a matter of cleansing the temple. The spiritual master teaches the neophyte devotee all these kindly and personally to help him gradually in the realization of the transcendental name, quality, form, etc. of the Lord. So when we, as his disciples, made mistakes in our service to the deities, Prabhupada corrected us. Because of our material conditioning and atheistic tendencies, we may tend to neglect the deity, to think the deity is merely a stone or metal statue, not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This tendency is acknowledged and criticized in Shastra. And I'm reading a quotation from Padma Purana. Arche Vishnu Shi, well, I won't read the Sanskrit, I'll just read the translation. One who thinks the deity in the temple to be made of wood or stone, who thinks of the spiritual master in the disciplic succession as an ordinary man, who thinks the Vaishnav in the Achyuta Gotra to belong to a certain caste or creed, or who thinks of Charanamrita or Ganges water as ordinary water, is taken to be a resident of hell. End quote. Done in the proper mood, with faith and veneration. Shrimurtira Shradaya Sevana. Worshipping the deity is one of the 5 most potent processes of devotional service. So yes, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Srila Rupa Goswami enumerates 64 items of devotional service. He says that of those 64, 5 are most potent. And even a slight association with any one of them can awaken dormant love for Krishna. And the 5 are Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana, Bhagavat Shravana, Mathura Vasa, and Murti Sharanvita Sevana. So the last one, Murti Sharanvita Sevana, means to worship the deity with faith and veneration. Sort of the 5 most potent items of devotional service. So done in the proper mood, with faith and veneration, Shrimurtira Shradaya Sevana, worshipping the deity is one of the 5 most potent processes of devotional service. As stated in Srila Rupa Goswami's Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-90, Shraddha Visheshata Priti Srimurtir Angrisevane. With love and full faith, one should worship the lotus feet of the deity. But if we mistake the deity for a stone, metal, or wooden statue or idol, we are doomed. Referring to the deity as Krishna, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, states, Sakshad Vrajendra Sutta Ite Nahi Aina Yeve Agye Kare Tanri Pratima Henanaya. Without a doubt, he is directly the son of the king of Vraja. Only a fool considers him a statue. That's CC Adi 5-25. Se aparade tara nahi kadnistara gora nara kete pade kiba liba ara. For that offense, the offense of seeing the deity as a statue and not as Krishna, for that offense, he cannot be liberated. Rather, he will fall into a terrible, hellish condition. What more should I say? That was the next verse, CC Adi 5-26. Commenting on this verse, Srila Prabhupada states, those who are actually very serious about devotional service do not differentiate between the form of the Lord, made of clay, metal, stone, or wood, and the original form of the Lord. The statue of Lord Krishna and Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, are not different because the Lord is absolute. Even if one has not developed this consciousness, one should accept it theoretically from the instructions of the spiritual master and should worship the Archamurti, or form of the Lord in the temple, as non-different from the Lord. And thus Srila Prabhupada kindly trained us in the course of and as part of his service to the deities. And then one more section. Yes, Srila Prabhupada stayed in Juhu for 3 months while we were working on getting the permission. And during that time, he spoke on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, teachings of Lord Kapila, and his lectures in Juhu were compiled in a book called Teachings of Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti. So continuing his talks on Srimad Bhagavatam 325, Srila Prabhupada came to verse 35. Pasyanti te me ruchiranyamba santa prasanna vaktraruna lochanani rupani devyani varapadani sakam vacham sprihaniam vedanti. O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form with eyes like the rising morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. Srila Prabhupada related the verse to our beautiful deities of Shri Shri Radharasa Bihari and the benefit people receive by appreciating them. Quote, here it is said, Pashyanti te me ruchirani. Krishna is so beautiful. Ruchirani. Ruchira means very attractive. Now, fortunately, people in Bombay say that our deity here is most beautiful. They say there is no such deity in Bombay city. So this is our duty, to dress Krishna in such an attractive way that people at least see that it is very beautiful. Then a person becomes a devotee, simply by appreciating. Simply by appreciating, if they say, now the deity worship is very nice, they go a step forward immediately, simply by appreciation. Then other things will come gradually. Therefore, the temple worship should be exactly to the routine, to the instruction of the Shastra and the Guru and the Acharya, so that the worshipper, as well as the visitor, both of them will benefit. They will be gradually seeing the results. Krishna is so kind that he has consented to appear in a way that we can see. At the present moment, we cannot see Krishna as he is spiritually embodied, Satchidananda Vigraha, because we have no eyes to see Satchidananda Vigraha. Here is also Satchidananda Vigraha, Archamurti. It is not idol worship. The atheist class may say so, but it is not so. Those who have got eyes, they can see. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he entered the temple of Jagannath, immediately he fainted. Oh, here is my Lord. Here is my Lord. So one has to become Santa. Then one can see. But it is by culture. Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva, Brahma Samhita 538. When you develop that culture, when you develop that love for Krishna, then you will see immediately and you will faint. Oh, here is my Lord. So, one other note, I happen to be in Srila Prabhupada's room here in Mayapur when a couple of devotees came in to present to him the Arjuna Padati, their proposal for the manual of deity worship, and Srila Prabhupada said, keep it simple. In Kali Yuga, our main process is Harinam, and we should always remember that. And Srila Jiva Goswami says that a deity worship should always be accompanied by a kirtan. So this is my little presentation about deity worship to all of you students of deity worship, pujaris and future pujaris. And now if any of you have any questions or any comments, any reflections you want to share, you can raise your hand. All right, anyway, the main thing is to see that the deity is the Lord himself. That's the main thing. And Srila Prabhupada said in deity worship, the two main factors are cleanliness and punctuality. So if we see the deity as the Lord and serve in the mood that the deity is the Lord and are very careful about cleanliness and punctuality, then our deity worship will be pleasing and satisfactory, pleasing to the Lord and pleasing to us. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Yes?
Often we see that during eclipse period in India, we see a lot of temples are closed, and Mayapur is not closed. So, what is the principle by Prabhupada about during eclipse period? What should be the worship? Should the darshan be open? Should it be closed?
Well, you're saying that here they don't close.
In Mayapur, they don't close the darshan, but a lot of other places in India, they do close the temple.
Yeah.
Period of the eclipse, period of eclipse. They
Yeah.
close the temples, not in Mayapur though. So, what is the standard that was set by Prabhupada?
Well, I don't recall any incident when there was an eclipse, when Prabhupada made any statement. But yeah, I mean, I think recently we were in Vrindavan during an eclipse and they closed the temple, darshan. I guess it could go either way, depending on what the authorities think is most appropriate under the circumstances. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Actually, today we were discussing with some devotees. If there is some person dies and their family members giving means prasadam to the devotees. So when we offer such prasadam to such bhoga to the Lord, and when other devotees will take prasadam, so some people were saying we should not take such food because it takes a lot of karma and all. So my question is, so if it is offered to the Lord, then there is no question of all these things. So can you please enlighten us?
Yeah, I agree with you. If the food is offered to the Lord with love and devotion, the Lord accepts it and it becomes prasad. So there's no question of karma. In fact, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that those who prepare food for their sense enjoyment rarely eat only sin. But those who eat food offered in sacrifice are released from all sin. So yeah, it's prasad, and we should honor it, and we'll be purified by accepting it. Yes.
Yeah, Maharaj, like you mentioned that the deity is not different from Krishna. Okay, if we are in the study the actual form for a long time, can we get to the platform of relating with deities, communicating with deities, like the story of Govinda Ghosh, and who communicated with the deities? How can we get to that platform, not just the actual form? How do we relate to the deities in person?
I didn't catch all of it.
A devotee who's been serving the deity for a long time, how can he like come for a more intimate relationship with the deity? Can he give an example of like Govinda Ghosh?
Kanchipura.
Kanchipura. Kanchipurna. So how can one come to that platform of intimacy with the deity?
Not just the actual form.
Not just
Archanas.
Well, our most important process is chanting the holy names. And by sincere, attentive japa or kirtan, no cheto darpano marjanam, all the dirty things within the heart become cleansed. And Srila Prabhupada says the first dirty thing is to think I am this body. And Srila Prabhupada also said that by deity worship, you confirm that you're not this body. So when you're on the spiritual platform, yeah, you can worship the deity with faith and veneration. And yeah, it's, Srila Prabhupada says, and I mean, in special cases, the deity can speak to the devotee. Sometimes the deity also appears in the dream of devotees. But the basis, I would say, is a good chanting. If our chanting is good, then our service to the deity will be more pure and intimate. So yeah, we should really chant nicely to cleanse our hearts. Yes?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Sorry, I did a bit late for your last presentation. But I also want to say thank you for your inspiration example of yourself. Usually I'm not used to Facebook, but I use Facebook only to listen how you chant your japa, how you're doing your sadhana. It is very inspiring. My question is about Srila Prabhupada. We know the Srila Prabhupada is established the greatest standard for all these contemplations. It's very high, nice, very beautiful quality of the standard. And from where the Srila Prabhupada gave this standard? Because we can see different Gaudiya Math temples that they don't follow so nice, great standard. So from where Srila Prabhupada gave this inspiration? It was like from their family, from childhood standard, and also we see how the movement was developing in the first days. It was like very free, very acceptable, not everything, but in the day the Srila Prabhupada established beautiful. So from where he had this.
Well, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also had a high standard of deity worship. I mean, what we see in the Gaudiya Math temples now, may not be to the standard that we have, that Srila Prabhupada gave us. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had a high standard. And Srila Prabhupada gave us a high standard. And he also saw that we Westerners had some talents and abilities that could be nicely engaged in deity service. And the deity worship in ISKCON is spectacular. I mean, people don't see that kind of deity worship, that kind of decoration of the deities, addressing of the deities. They don't see that anywhere else. I've also never seen it anywhere else. So that's Prabhupada's mercy and potency that he established such a high standard of deity worship and dressing and decoration in ISKCON. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Yes.
Maharaj, after establishing ISKCON, Prabhupada when he came to India and when he was establishing deities in ISKCON, Vrindavan and Juhu, so you were there with him at that time when the deities were installed. So can you share some pastime from the installation of deities?
About the installation? Well, Srila Prabhupada, you've seen pictures. Srila Prabhupada did the first arti to Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan. There's also nice pictures of him at the deity installation of Sri Radha Gokulananda in London. He installed many deities personally. Sri Radha Paris Ishwara. He was very personal in his relationship with the deities and in his service to the deities. And he showed by his example how we should relate to the deity, treat the deity, serve the deity, worship the deity. And he had in a way you could say he had a special relationship with Sri Radharasa Bihari because he was, as I already promised them, you come here and I will build you a temple. And so he carried a picture of them with him wherever, he carried a picture of them with him wherever he went. And then he ended up in Vrindavan, of course, and he left in Vrindavan. And so that picture that he carried, that picture of Sri Radharasa Bihari that he carried with him is now in Vrindavan. So, I mean, at one stage, he said, he's not so keen on the Juhu land. He said, we have money, we could get land anywhere. But we invited the deity. And then to drive the deity away would be a great insult. So I could not tolerate that. Yes.
Maharaj, Yes. As serving as a pujari, sometimes we have to be very strict according to the temple management and the authorities, and many devotees may, like feel offended. So I feel very sorry at that time. So how to deal with such situations?
Why should they feel offended? What would you do that would make them feel?
Sometimes they bring some flowers or they bring some bhoga and it's too late and they want us to offer and then we have to say no, sorry. So like they have to say no. So at that time, how to deal? Even I feel personally feel sorry for them, and then I feel like it's
Yeah. Well, I mean, we want to encourage them. They want to do some service for the deity. So I think you just say that it's too late for this offering, but we'll use it in the next offering if it's possible. You just say we'll just use it in the next offering. And they should, they should know the timings. And if they want you to offer something, they should bring it early enough. But if by chance they're too late for the offering you're doing, then you say, I appreciate what you brought for me to offer, but it's too late for me to offer it at this time, but we'll offer it at the next opportunity. I think they should be all right with that.
I have kind of an interesting question because a few times, different occasions, devotees have brought something to the altar and asked me to offer it. For example, like a laptop, an Apple laptop, and a mridanga at another point. And they're like nice devotees, they're very sincere, and they want me to offer it to the deities, put it on the altar or something like that. So just wondering, I was a little like hesitant, I didn't know exactly what should be done. Just wondering if you would.
I don't think you can put those items on the altar, but you can say that this is a very nice sentiment, and in your mind you will offer those items to the deity, but you can't physically place the item on the altar.
Right.
Anything else?
I have one question. Like, in proper time, things were quite simpler and like small, and now we see everything is bigger. Anything like festivals or temples, and sometimes devotees feel like not connected because of such a vast area, and we have a lot of people. So how do we? And we often hear that in Prabhupada's time, the process was more simplified. Now we have added so many things to the process. How do you see that? Like even when we perform festivals, like during Prabhupada's time, it was quite simple with Abhishek and Kirtan. But now everything has grown bigger and larger. So how do we, when devotees ask questions that it was much simpler those times, why do we have to do these all other procedures or other activities? So how do we balance that?
I mean, we can keep it simple the way it was during Prabhupada's presence. There are devotees who have that inclination to do more elaborate worship and more complicated rituals. And in principle, there's no harm if they do that, if that's their nature and that's their propensity, but it's not necessary. And I also tend to favor the more simple methods that Prabhupada introduced. Yeah.
But actually, we see from your all other examples, dedication towards Prabhupada and movement. It's really very inspiring. So, we like to hear the secret of your success, how you are going tirelessly, always in devotional service and inspiring so many people. So, how we can also develop. So, what is the secret?
Well, it's simple. I have faith in Srila Prabhupada, and in the principle that by serving the spiritual master and pleasing the spiritual master, one achieves all success. So I, try to follow his instructions, and there are general instructions and specific instructions. So we follow the general instructions for sadhana. And then specific instructions, in my case, he told me to write repeatedly. He instructed me to write. So I do that with keeping his instruction in the forefront. And it just keeps getting better and better. It's meant to get better and better, and it does get better and better. Yeah. Just stay with it. Yes?
Maharaj, any pastime you would like to share with Radha Rasbihari that you as so Pujari at that time, I'm sure Prabhupada was there, so you would like to share any pastimes?
Well, this one is a sort of odd one, but so one day a demolition squad from the municipality came, supported by the police, and they said that the permission for our small temple had not been renewed, which was false, because I had met the municipal commissioner and he had extended the permission for another year. And I had the letter in my file. And I went and I got my file to show to them, but they were not interested because they had been bribed. They had been paid off by Nair. So they started to demolish the temple, and one by one the devotees came forward to stop them, and they were like taken and put in the police paddy wagon. And there was one lady named Maitali, sort of big-bodied American woman, and she just wouldn't let them come close to the deities, and she's a woman, so it was hard for them to deal with her. But eventually they did, and as they were pulling her away, she was kicking and screaming. And later Prabhupada said that she'll go back to Godhead kicking and screaming. So we were all taken to the police station, except there was one devotee named Manasvi Das. He was Gujarati. He didn't come forward like the rest of us, but he was sort of crouching in the bushes and witnessing it all. And he phoned one of our friends named Kartikeya Mahadevya and told him what was happening and asked for some help. And Kartikeya Mahadevia called Bal Thackeray, who was the leader of the Shiv Sena political party and a staunch Hindu. And Bal Thackeray phoned the police commissioner, the municipal commissioner, and told him, you have to stop this. And the municipal commissioner falsely said that we don't have permission. And Bal Thackeray said, don't forget who owns this city. It was a sort of a veiled threat. Don't forget who owns this city. So then the municipal commissioner, he said, all right, Balasab, all right, I'll stop it. And the municipal commissioner phoned the K ward. We were under the K ward. And the K ward officer came running personally to the site to stop the demolition. Then in the meantime, we were released from the police custody, and we came back, and they had demolished a lot of the temple, and they were just getting to the deity's room when the demolition was stopped. And when we came back, we had like a picture of Lord Nrsingadev right on above the deity's doors. It seemed like Lord Nrsingadev protected them. And then, there was a whole question about rebuilding the temple. And there were a lot of intricacies, but eventually we rebuilt it. And one of the heroes was Sri P.L. Sethi. He was Punjabi, very staunch devotee of Srila Prabhupada, and a bit of a Kshatriya. So when we were, so Nair had the local municipal corporator, Pushpakant Matre, with him. So when we were rebuilding the temple, Matre came and he said, you can rebuild the temple, but I'm going to come with 50 gundas and break it down again. And Mr. Sethi said to his son, Brij Mohan, bring my rifle and revolver. And he said, how many, he used the word cartouche, how many cartridges do I have? And Brij Mohan said 250. So Mr. Sethi told Matre, 50 gundas won't be enough. You have to bring at least 251 because I'm going to shoot and kill the first 250. So then they didn't disturb us again. Any other questions or comments? Yes?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I have a question. How our education and our process of deity worship is connected to our daily chanting? Should it enhance our experience of japa basically? Or do that if just chanting is just enough? Connection between japa and other services, especially education and deity worship. So how is that connected? Is it affects our chanting or just chanting as it is and doing it separate? Well,
everything's interrelated. And, you know, if we do good japa, it will help us in our studies and in our deity worship. And if we study nicely and worship the deity nicely, that will help our consciousness, and that in turn will help our japa. So everything we do well will help us to do everything else better. Yeah, they're all interconnected. Yes.
I had a question regarding the demand of the temples for needing second initiates fundings and compared with the eligibility of the candidate. So what do you see as someone who's ready for second initiation? And then compared to what the temple needs second initiate right now, something like that.
Well, I think different temples have different requirements for second initiation. Some require the candidates to take an exam, to take Bhakti Shastri. And it's good to have a high standard for second initiation. And if a temple urgently needs pujaris, I suppose the candidate could be given second initiation without meeting all of those requirements on the condition that the devotee will subsequently fulfill the requirements. But the requirements should be filled because they're important for a Brahmin. Yeah. Yes?
You know that Srila Prabhupada, he was established for ministry in 1976, maybe. Mistake, but it was under this, 1976 he established Ministry of Education, yes, Ministry of Gurukul, and also two ministries. And what Srila Prabhupada vision about these ministries? Because now school is very big, the structure management is very big, and sometimes we don't know what's going on upstairs. What is the vision of Srila Prabhupada about this ministry, this management? How can us believe in this?
Yeah, well, the ministers have an important role to play. Just like GBC secretaries, they have a geographical area for which they're responsible. So the ministers have an area of service for which they're responsible. And we have a minister of deity worship, Narayan Kavacha or Nrsinga Kavacha. And we recently had deity installation in Mauritius of the Panchatattva. And so he came. And yeah, the ministers have an important role to play. And yeah, we need both people who are responsible for geographical areas and then people who are responsible for areas of service. Yeah, Prabhupada conceived that we needed both. We could benefit from both.
So this service is like quiet service, or it's a little bit loud enough in the service?
Sorry?
So this type of service, like if I'm minister of some department, so my service is a little bit wide. It's like supervision, supervising, or it must be more loudly visible?
He's like, if one's a minister, is their duty more like supervising all different aspects of that?
Yes, supervising. Yes, exactly. Basically, they supervise.
I have another question. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said in the 9th chapter, in the 2nd verse, when Krishna said Raja Vidya Raja Gupyam, and he said Pratyaksham Bhagavan Pramyan. This Pratyaksham, how does it apply for us basically? How we should feel Krishna right now? Because sometimes Prabhupada said that work now, samadhi later. And should we have the direct Krishna conscious experience of Krishna right now, even on sadhana stage, or it will like come later?
No, you can experience now. Raja Vidya, Raja Guya. You have some experience now. I mean, as we're reading, we don't have the eyes necessarily to see Krishna in his original form, Satchidananda Vigraha, but we can see the deity as Krishna, and the deity can reveal himself to us as Krishna and reciprocate with our service. So we don't have to wait for that. Yeah. All right. So what's next?
We have some more Prashad if you'd like to distribute.
I'd love to.
Martin distributed from Prashad and some people give observances. We haven't distributed Prashad, so you can do that. And then later, if one wants to get more,